Hello, everyone. We meet today on settled Indigenous land, which is the traditional territory of the Chinookan peoples of the Wasco, Rishram, Warm Springs, and Grand Ronde tribes. Let us honor this land and its traditional native stewards, past, present, and future, and strive today to embody a commitment to cultural equity and reconciliation, ecological conservation, and sustainability. In this spirit, I hereby call this meeting to order at 4:05 p.m. And Tia, could you take roll call?
Yes, we have Laura Dunn, Chair.
Present.
Letty Moretti, Vice Chair.
Present.
Daryl Roberts, Secretary Treasurer.
Daryl was here. Did he drop off?
Yeah, he must have dropped off.
Okay, Megan Larrabee.
Here.
Greg Pack.
Looks like he's not here.
Jeff Helfrich. And Megan Ramey.
Here.
Tia,
Okay, thank you.
Your voice doesn't sound great. I won't call on you to talk any more than you have to. Okay, minutes to the March 29th special meeting are in the packet, as well as the April 20th regular meeting. Are there any changes that board members would like to make?
I got cut out for a while there, Laura. What changes to what? Because I do have some changes that need to be made.
Yeah, so there's the March 29th special meeting and the April 20th regular meeting.
So yeah, on the April 20th, I believe that I'm not listed as being present. Trying to get back to that. Yeah, I'm not listed as being present in the roll call. And I also wasn't included in the approval of the vote for the supplemental budget.
Okay, but you were there.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Tia. can you-
Egregious error.
Yeah,
So sorry about
about
that, Daryl. I think we have you on the. Yeah, we have you on the roll call for the regular meeting, but we didn't have you on the supplemental. So
Right.
we
Yeah.
will fix that. I'm sorry.
Any other changes? Okay, is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Do we need a second on that?
I'll second it.
Thanks. Okay, all in favor? Oh, sorry. So Megan Larrabee in favor? She raised her hand. Megan Ramey? In favor? Okay, and Chair also votes aye. So Amy, help me out there. If we've had a motion and a second, those folks don't need to vote again, right?
No.
All right, motion passed. Okay, now's the opportunity for public comment regarding a discussion item that is not on the agenda today. Do we have any members of the public who'd like to make a comment? Okay, we'll move ahead to the April financial report. Teresa Galucci from our team accounting is here by phone and ready to present the financial overview. Go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, thank you. At the end of April, there was 1.3 million in cash available. That's about 85,000 more than last year at this time. And it should be noted that in the CIT account, that's the county tax deposit account, there's 880,000. That is about 237,000 more than the prior year, which indicates that Maine operations is substantially coming from the grant revenue. Grant receivables in April were $397,000. The Q3 draws have been requested, so funds will start coming in pretty soon if they have not yet been received, and that will bring that receivable down. Accounts payable at the end of April was $29,000. Not typical, but those invoices were not paid the first week of May, clearly because everybody's been sick. So those will get caught up and out the door soon, I'm sure. Revenue year to date was 1.9 million. The budget was 2 million, and the variance is due to the capital grants not being drawn against or needed the match funds as planned. Cost of goods year to date totaled 460,000. The amount budgeted for this point in the year was 618. So there's a positive variance of 159,000. The savings is kind of generally due to 102,000 less in fuel expense than planned, about 14,000 less in tire expense that was planned at this point in the year, and the match funds for the capital grants, of course. And altogether, there's 285,000 left in the budget that will last until the end of the year. And I would say average monthly expenses are around 150 to 200,000. So it'll be close to meet budget. The admin expense overall has been 57,000 less than the budget for this point in the year. There's 95,000 available left until the end of June, and the monthly expense average is between 20 and 30,000. So there'll be a positive variance in that area by the end of the year. Personnel expense was 1.25 million for the year. It's about 533 less than the budget, and it's averaging about 120,000 a year. So overall, net income is 141,000. That's 212,000 more than the budget at this point in the year, in the budget year. So I think we're going to end the year on a positive note. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So moving ahead to resolution and action items, Amy has a few items to discuss with the board. Amy, go ahead.
Okay. So the first one is the auditor. And Tia included a memo. And Tia, since your voice is still kind of rough, I'll go ahead and do the bullet points, and then just if I miss anything, just let me know. So per the April board meeting, we let the board know that we only received one proposal for auditor services. And the board asked to do an interview with them, who is Friends and Reagan. And we had an interview with them with myself and Daryl and Megan Ramey. And then Greg was able to join us after the interview and kind of just talk about it a little bit. The main things that there were no major concerns that were brought up by the board members after the interview. The main thing was just making sure our standard contract includes a termination clause, which it does. And then that we checked the references. And Tia did that, and she received 2 out of 3 responses, and both were glowing reviews of Friends and Reagan. So the board just needs to decide if they feel comfortable moving forward with selecting Friends and Reagan. They are our only selection, and staff does recommend that we move forward with them.
Are there any questions for Amy? So I take it we need a motion, if not?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to go ahead with Friends and Reagan as our auditors.
I second.
Okay, and Letty, how do you vote?
I am in favor.
Megan?
Aye.
Both Megan say aye and chair votes aye.
And then Laura, just to make sure our bases are covered, let's, even though they already made a motion, let's just go ahead and include them in their.
Okay, all right, in the vote. Daryl,
Aye.
Megan Larrabee,
Aye.
are we covered there? All right, unanimously decided. Thank you. Ty, we'll go ahead with the operations report.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's a couple more items for resolutions. The next one
Sorry.
is there are 2 budget committee members that have applied to be on the budget committee. Their names are Cindy Walbridge and then of course Bridget Bailey, who used to be a board member. The board needs to approve in order for them to be on the budget committee.
I'd make a motion to approve Cindy Walbridge and Bridget Bailey to be on our budget committee.
I'll second.
Okay, Megan Larrabee, how do you vote?
Yes. Or aye. Can we say yes? Or
It's okay with me.
aye.
Daryl?
Yes.
Megan Ramey
Yes.
and Letty,
Yes.
and chair votes yes as well. Okay, and one other item there. Sorry about that, Amy.
One more, no worries. And the last one is, so we are doing our, I'm sorry, I am totally blanking.
Workers' comp.
Workers'
Yes,
comp.
workers' comp, thank you. And I do apologize, I accidentally added a lot more information in your board packet than you needed. But basically we need a resolution for the board to approve the board members to be on the workers' comp as a volunteer.
I'll make a
Does
motion.
that
to
involve any
approve.
costs to the district?
So there is, I don't know, Ty, do you mind answering this, or Patty?
Oh, Patty, I think you're muted.
There is a very small cost to the district. There is not a way to not have a cost to the district by having a board and having volunteers. If something happened and the building fell and hurt people while you were at CAT and you were there for a work purpose, you would need to be covered by the insurance.
So this kind of coverage is
It's
required.
required, yeah.
Yes, it's required.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Could I get a motion to approve the change?
And then Laura, if we could specifically get a motion to approve resolution number 22-5-18.
Do I need to repeat that? Could I get a motion to approve resolution number 22-5.18, extending workers' compensation coverage to volunteers of the HR County
The
Sure.
board members specifically, yeah.
board members specifically?
Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, Daryl, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Ramey, how do you vote? Megan, you're muted.
Yes.
Letty, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Larrabee, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, now Ty, I think, is up.
Yes.
Okay. We'll go through with the actual order of the agenda. So first we have employee of the month. Our employee of the month this month is Heather Muma. She comes from driving for the school district. She has been with us for probably about 8 months now, and she has been amazing all around. Just very positive, happy person. She has a sweatshirt that she loves to say that I drive a bus full of nuts or something. And she's just always has a smile on her face when she's in the office. So she is our employee of the month. Performance report. Our safety score stayed the same. We had 0 crashes. I did want to review this, probably don't want to go to it in full detail at the moment. There's just a lot of different definitions of what qualifies as a crash. So while we actually did have one accident, or there was another vehicle that hit our vehicle, it's not reportable for ODOT, it's not reportable for our national database. So I didn't want to put it on here and then have that be misleading later. So we did have a vehicle incident. There was no injuries, there was no anything. So that doesn't qualify as a reportable accident for us federally or statewide. So I didn't include it on our internal report. Because we ended the Gorge Mountain service, our drive time came down a little bit, as did the miles driven. Our on-time performance stayed right about exactly the same, and our dial-a-ride performance increased. The fuel dropped down with the drop in service for the Gorge Mountain services. And then we have a one vehicle repair, or one major vehicle repair. It is the power steering pump on one of our large buses is being replaced currently. Questions on that section? No, okay. Dog Mountain update. Dog Mountain has been pretty slow so far this year. We have not had a good weekend yet. As far as good weather weekend, sorry. So it's actually been nice for the drivers. They haven't been overwhelmed, so it's been a good slow start. It looks like this weekend is going to be somewhat nice. So we'll see how this one goes, but it has definitely been slower than the past, just because it's been raining every weekend. Fall. Sorry, what's that? I thought I heard something. No, okay. Falls to Locks, we are starting our service next Saturday. We are going to start it with one vehicle. It'll be right at an hour service all day long. And then we'll be adding vehicles in as we have drivers and everything ready. We have almost all of we have 4 of the 5 buses wrapped. The last one is getting taken over there today. All of them have the radios, cameras, electronics installed. They're down there today getting the fare boxes and automatic credit card payments installed in them. I think the only thing we're waiting for is one piece on air conditioners, and then the ACs will be getting installed, and that's the last thing before all those are all ready to go. Any questions on those two, or jump right into the 5339 grant?
Did we ever find a mechanic to cover that area?
We do not have a full contract mechanic in the Portland area. We've have a guy that's on call that we've done some work with in the past if we have an emergency breakdown. And then we also have potentially TriMet as an option. We're working with them to maybe store a vehicle once we're running multiple ones, so that if there is an emergency, we have a vehicle in the Portland area that we can pull out immediately. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the 533 NOLO grant then. So we did not end up getting our application in this year. Just with this new service and everything else that was coming out, we felt that it was best if we waited until next year and had a stronger application. We had some stuff that we could have submitted, but we didn't want to submit we felt it would look poor on the agency if we had submitted something that wasn't completed, and we'd rather wait until next year where we have a complete and something that we are proud of submitting to put in. So we did not submit for the NOLO grant this year, but hope to have a more competitive application to submit next year.
Was that the grant that was going to pay for the trolley, or is is that something else?
That was on that grant. Yes, we were putting in for the electric trolley and 2 electric vehicles to run on the Columbia Gorge Express.
And so how are we gonna pay for the trolley now?
So we're still leasing a trolley in the midterm until we've made a full decision, because it was either purchase that 1998 trolley or lease this 2018 one. Because even
Oh,
if
okay,
we-
so the grant wasn't gonna pay for the lease, it was just gonna pay for the purchase if we bought one.
correct, it was to purchase a new low floor one. Yes.
Hmm.
So that'll still be the plan. It'll just be a year later than was hoped for. And then we've confirmed with this leasing company that we can lease the current vehicle that we're doing for the time being.
Other questions or comments on that, or move along to the next item?
I think go ahead, Ty. Or are you, I'm sorry, so you're done with your part.
I'm done with my part. If there's no other questions, yes.
Okay. Amy.
Thank you.
Executive Director report, go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing on here is the RFP for a new accountant. As you guys may know, Teresa's contract is ending at the end of June. And we have decided that we do want to have, even though we have Tia in-house, we want to continue to have that accountant oversight. So we have been working with Teresa to clarify the scope for a new RFP that will be going out here shortly, so that we can find an accountant to kind of, review the monthly financials, give the report to the board, and just kind of overall double check things. I don't need approval necessarily, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page and was aware of how we're moving forward. And if there are any questions.
Are we looking for a CPA or otherwise?
Yeah, that was the goal. I think it's really going to kind of depend on what are some of the responses that we get back. But that is our intent, to have basically the same as Teresa, just in a different form. And the potential is that we will have to probably reach out to firms in Portland as well. Just because when Tia was looking for an auditor within the Gorge, there was just not many people had the extra ability, which is why we only received one proposal for the auditor.
Okay, well, I
I'm
was gonna
gonna-
say, go ahead.
I would like to add, Daryl, just for clarification, I'm not a CPA. I've just got 25 years of controller experience in large nonprofits, as well as an accounting degree, but I am not a CPA.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Okay, my apologies. Sorry about that. Thank you for the clarification, Teresa.
If you don't come up with anybody, I assume we were probably looking for somebody local, but if you don't come up with anybody local, I did know somebody that used to be local but moved to Vancouver that I had done some work with in the past, and I could try to see if they're interested. I don't know that they have public type CPA experience, but this person is a CPA.
Okay, yeah, I think that'd be great. You can pass that information along, and then Tia can follow up with them. All right, so also just a quick update on the transit master plan. We had our second Community Advisory Committee meeting on April 28th. Laura and Megan Ramey were both at that meeting, and I thought it was great. We did get a lot of insight. There are some additional things that we need to do in order to make sure that we're getting enough surveys as possible from the community. And so that is something that we're working on. We owe all committee members basically a Go Kit, which allows them to have little bookmarks and surveys that they can pass out to people to get more respondents. Our hope is to get as many more respondents as we can by mid-June, as that is when we'll be closing the surveys. Patty is working on service alternatives and hoping to get a draft by mid-June on that as well. Our next CAC meeting is in July, and so really we're just mostly focused on getting as many survey responses as we can. So just another plug out there that if you have not already sent that out to your contacts, to please forward it and encourage as many people to apply as possible. We are working with the Nextdoor and One Community Health to get their help at different outreach events, and there are going to be incentives provided to community members for that. Patty or Tide or Tia, did I miss anything? Or any of the board members that were at the CAC meeting? Would you like to, is there anything you'd like to add? Okay. I did want to send a quick update you all on the office, since I did send an email about having another little flood. We had the little tank on the water heater, the expansion tank did leak and did cause some damage, but nothing that needs to, at this point, nothing that needs to be repaired. We were able to dry everything out, and it looks like no damage is permanent. The last thing on my list is the draft budget message. I did want to apologize. This year was a little bit more rushed than ideal. In future years, I will make sure to get this draft budget message and draft budget out to you much further in advance than the budget committee meeting, which is tomorrow for this year. And I wanted to go over just a couple of the big things that we accomplished this year, but also my goals for next year. And if you guys had any questions or concerns about those things. Hold on one second, just getting to that spot. Okay, so for this year, as just a refresher of some of the things that we did accomplish, we had a very busy year. Hood River City route evening service and weekend service was expanded, and year-round weekend service was added. I was promoted to the executive director. Our 4-agency Gorge Pass launched in July 2021 with the link Skamania County Transit, as well as Mount Adams Transportation Services. We contracted with Skamania County to provide the Dog Mountain Shuttle for the second year. Exciting. We provided the Gorge to Mountain service in-house, which allowed us to reduce overall costs. We implemented the Gorge Transit Connect low-income pass program, which provides local organizations free passes to give clients who are eligible. We continue to support local community efforts with organizations like Hood River County Health, One Community Health, the Nextdoor, Emergency Services, etc. We secured over $500,000 in capital grant funds for an additional 2 electric vehicles and another $500,000 for a summer expansion of the Columbia Gorge Express to Cascade Locks, which is the Falls to Locks program. Began implementation of the 2017 Transit Master Plan update, including significant public engagement to understand how the district should grow in the next 5 to 10 years. So I would just like to give a big round of applause to Patty and all the other staff, because that was quite a lot. I want to recognize that. So for this following year, for fiscal 2023, my goals are to complete the formal update to the Transit Master Plan, continue and grow the multi-provider Gorge Pass program and support the regional transit strategy and work toward improved connectivity throughout the Gorge, identify and secure opportunities for training and human resources leadership and overall transit operations training, renovate the CAT office to accommodate growing staff and support expansion of services, secure funding to maintain existing services and implement service expansion prioritized in the Transit Master Plan, expand outreach to vulnerable communities to ensure access and awareness of transit, and to explore innovative options and implement solutions to address specific transportation needs, i.e. local NEMT and door-through-door, after-hour shuttle, and shared bike program. Any questions or concerns with that list?
It's very impressive, and I feel like it aligns with our mission and values. And I'm so happy with the team that we've got implementing all these things. So good work.
Awesome, thank you.
Second all that.
Yeah, and I also really appreciate how you wrote everything up. It helped me synthesize just the year and review really nicely.
Oh, good, thank you. All right, well, awesome.
Any other questions for Amy before we move ahead to discussion items? Okay. Are there any discussion items the board would like to address?
Yes, but speaking of the team that we've got, Letty, I hope you're going to be sticking around now that you're going to have a much more important job.
Yeah, congratulations. That was exciting to see.
Yeah, thank you. I do plan to stick around
I mean, on the board.
on the board. Yes.
Good.
Good, Letty, I'm glad.
Yeah, thanks.
So Letty, it was a funny story last night. We were at Ferment filling out our ballot. And I'm already just a little annoyed that as a nonpartisan, I can't vote for everybody. It drives me kind of crazy because I don't consider myself politically affiliated. And I saw that you were nonpartisan. I'm like, wait, why is she not on my ballot? And I was getting really frustrated. And then I realized because I don't live in the area you're representing. So, but yeah, I was so happy for you.
You're really close on the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But I do have one prod and reminder for the board. If you haven't filled out the City of Hood River survey yet for the Heights streetscape plan, I very much recommend doing that. It's so important to comment to make sure that permanent transit stops and bus shelters are included in the design. And if anybody has any questions about the designs, I love to walk people through them or take a walkabout through the Heights if you want to.
Thanks, Megan. Okay, so as far as upcoming events, we have the budget committee meeting May 19th, that's tomorrow. The Gorge Visitor Kickoff event at Evoke has been delayed. The date is not yet identified, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be June 30th. I'll confirm with everybody once that happens. They made the decision because of the recent kind of COVID outburst to delay the event, and luckily our friends at Evoke Winery are willing to work with us again and delay it. Yeah, it was just felt to be best. So it's not happening tomorrow night. So that's the main thing. And we hope that you'll be able to join at the June 30th event. And we're working to make sure it's outside and still very COVID friendly, with the fact that this is just very transmissible variant.
Okay, but we will still be holding our first budget committee meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. via Zoom.
Yes, 4 p.m. tomorrow, budget committee meeting still happening.
Okay, via Zoom. Only.
Yes, via Zoom only. Will be remotely.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, Letty, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Ramey?
Yes.
Daryl,
Yes.
Megan Larrabee,
Yes.
and I also vote to in favor of adjournment. So meeting is adjourned today at 4:41 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and